Okay, so as I explained, these are the different bonuses and incentives that you can get that can add up to over $90,000. I'm going to give you a quick overview, and then I'm going to break down each component, and I'm going to give you some examples in the different states because the bonuses are different state by state and also depending on your situation. So this is very general information at this point. Now, the incentives for first home buyers, you're going to get them in 4 areas. Area number 1, you're going to get state government bonuses and incentives. They give you 2 types of incentives. The first incentives is they give you a concession on stamp duty. These are considerable because the stamp duty concessions could be anywhere from $10,000 up to about $30,000. That is a massive saving, and that's $10,000 to $30,000 that you do not need to save or have to be able to get into your first home. So the second thing that the state government give you is they actually give you a grant or a cash rebate when you build brand new property. Now, it's a substantial amount of money. In Queensland, it's $15,000, and in New South Wales, it's $10,000, and in Victoria, it's also $10,000. And that actually goes to you as a cash rebate. You get that, and that can actually be used as part of your settlement funds for you to get into your very first property. So we've got up to $30,000 in terms of the stamp duty concession, and then we've got another $10,000 to $15,000 from the state government for your new build rebate or the grant. Now, in addition to that, not only does the state government give you these 2 things, but the federal government now give you 2 things that help first home owners. The first thing is the brand new home builder incentive. Now, this home builder incentive, it's come about because of this COVID situation, and what it actually allows you to do is to get a $25,000 cash rebate that's going to allow you to get into your first home. I'll speak a little bit about that as we move through the training. And also, in addition to that, they've got the first home loan scheme. So normally you need to have a 20% deposit on a first home purchase. If you do a 10% deposit, you can do that, but you've got to pay something called lender's mortgage insurance. That could be $10,000 to $15,000. That's a big bill, but under the government's first home loan scheme, they actually take on board that insurance for you. So that $10,000, $15,000 lender's mortgage insurance, you don't need to actually pay that. And in fact, you don't even need a 10% deposit to get into your first property. You now only need a 5% deposit to get into your first property. The difference on that is substantial. Think about a $500,000 property. Rather than coming up with a $50,000 deposit, now you only need to come up with 5%, which is only $25,000. That's $25,000 that you do not have to come up with to get into your first property. Now, the third thing is builder rebates. Now, when this COVID thing hit, building and construction, it slowed down. People hit the pause button. Property prices didn't drop because it was kind of like a pause, but during this pause period, there's not a lot of new construction going. So existing property didn't lose value, but what actually happened is that builders who are in the business of building new property, they're not as busy. Now, to keep their staff busy so they can keep people employed, they've actually offered us certain discounts to build certain different types of property in locations all around the country. Now, because we are the largest and fastest growing community of buyers, and we buy property in bulk, we buy hundreds and hundreds of properties each and every year, we've been able to put together a really strong package of builder rebates, and these do go from anywhere from about $5,000 up to $20,000 and even more than that in some cases. So potentially you've got quite a lot of money coming in on these builder rebates, which I'm going to explain more during this briefing as well. Now, number 4 is special bank loans. So if you do not qualify for the government's 5% federal government first home loan scheme, there are some banks and some lenders that will accept a 5% deposit. Under certain circumstances, some banks will actually accept a 5% deposit. You do have to pay lender's mortgage insurance, but getting in at 5% is certainly a lot better than getting in at 10% or 20%. You need less money to be able to get into the deal. Now, what do you actually need to do to qualify to do all of this? I'm going to break this down for you in a moment. But generally, if you've got $10,000 of savings, not a gift, not a bonus, not a loan, $10,000 of savings that you can show on your bank statement that you've saved this money over a period of time. You can prove to the bank it's genuine savings. If you've got at least that, then you can get into your first property and you're able to get all these incentives, which could total up to $90,000 and possibly even beyond that. So this whole package and this emergency briefing is for you if you meet this following criteria. If you earn more than $80,000, this is for you. Now, possibly if you earn less than that and you've got no debts, you've got no kids, you've got nothing like that, then potentially, you could be earning less than that. But generally, if you're a single person, you would need to be earning at least $80,000 for you to actually step forward and actually do this and qualify for a loan and get into the market. If you are a couple and you've got children, then you'd want to be earning over $120,000, $130,000. As a combined couple, you'd want to be earning more than that. Now, you also need to have $10,000 of cash saved. As I explained, this must be genuine cash savings that you can demonstrate to the bank. Number 3, you should be someone with equity. So maybe you don't have the $10,000 cash savings, but maybe you've got equity from somewhere. Maybe you've got parents that have a family home that have some equity in it. They could actually go guarantor on your loan to help you to qualify for your loan for you to be able to get in the market. And if you're a parent right now and you've got a home, you've got equity sitting there, you could release some of that equity and go guarantor on the loans for your children or for whoever you wanted to help out. Number 4, solid employment. You need to have solid employment. So to get a bank loan, fair enough, we're going to get $90,000 of bonuses and incentives and discounts, but to get the loan to get into the property, you need to have solid employment. The bank's not going to loan anyone money that's not employed, or certainly no one that has not been employed, for a solid amount of time. We're talking like at least 12 months of employment. And you need to have a clean credit record. If you've got big debts, big personal loans, big car loans, things like this, big credit card debts, that may actually hold you back. If you've defaulted in the past, you've got a dirty record, then you wouldn't qualify, and this is probably not for you. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna give you an example. We can do this anywhere in the country, but just for the sake as an example, I'm gonna give you one example for New South Wales, Victoria, and Queensland, because we've got different state governments. So the bonuses and the rebates, they're different according to what state that you're going to be in. Okay, so let's take a look at an example in New South Wales. Now, the first discount that you're going to get in New South Wales is you're going to get a stamp duty concession. You're going to get a rebate here, and this is applicable to a property up to about $650,000. There's a few different rules here, but let's just use $650,000. And the maximum, approximate number that you're going to save is about $24,000. That's a substantial amount of money. Normally, as a first home buyer, you actually have to have that money in cash. Now, you do not need to actually have that to step forward and do this. The second thing is that you're going to get a new property rebate. So if you do a brand new property, then, and you fit the rules and the criteria for this, then you're going to get a cash rebate of $10,000. So that $10,000, that's cash that goes into your bank account that you get, and that actually helps you to settle on the property and to get the property. You're also going to get the federal government's brand new home builder scheme. Now, to qualify for the home builder scheme, as a single, you must be earning less than $125,000. And as a couple, you must be earning less than $200,000. And you must be getting a property which is less than $750,000. There's a few other rules like that, but generally that's how it works. And this will give you a cash rebate, can you believe it, of $25,000. Now, you still qualify for that. You don't have to pay that. You are still going to qualify for that $10,000. And on top of that, you're going to get another $25,000 under this home builder scheme. So this is a big game changer. This is powerful stuff. This is so many people are going to jump into the market right now, and it's a real positive impact on the housing market and also for the construction sector. But more important than that, more families are now going to be able to move into their first home, which is fantastic news. You're also going to get the first home loan deposit scheme. And what this means is you only have to come up with a 5% deposit. So on a $500,000 property, this is just $25,000. and you will get a discount or a saving. Say on the lender's mortgage insurance, it's a different amount depending on different circumstances. I've just used a journal amount here of about 15,000, but it could be 10,000 to 18,000 depending, but this could be around about $15,000. That's 15 grand that you now do not need to come up with, and in fact, you're approved to go in at 5%. Now, it's very important because there's only a limited number of these. The government has only set aside a limited number of slots. So you've got to act now. If you leave this, you will miss out on this. You've got to move on this. It's a limited number. I'm telling you, like, move forward, step forward, and actually take action. Now, in addition to this, it gets even more powerful because as part of our community, because we're a group and a community and we're bulk buying property all over the country, we've structured up some deals where you can get a rebate from the builder, and I've put in here 10,000 just to be conservative, but we do have deals right now. Some are 5,000, some are 10, some are 15, some are actually $20,000, and so I've put here about 10 grand. Now, in this particular situation, if we use these numbers, it could be more, but even just being conservatively, this is $74,000 that is going to go into you getting your first home. This is serious, powerful stuff. Now, if you think about it, if your deposit, say on a $500,000 property, you just need $25,000, right? Because you only need the 5% under this. But here's the thing, this $10,000 rebate comes into play, so now you only need $15,000. And in addition to that, you're going to get this $25,000 cashback rebate. So that $15,000 gets wiped away, and you're now in the positive of $10,000. Where can I put this? $10,000 because of this thing. And I didn't have to come up with that. And potentially I'm going to get another rebate here. Maybe 5 grand, maybe 10 grand, maybe 15, maybe 20. But even if I just get like a $10,000 rebate, I add that to what I've got here, that's another 10 grand. I've now positive $20,000. So in this conservative example that I'm giving you now, you've gotten into your first home. You got into your first home with a 5% deposit, but actually less than 5%. You only needed $10,000 of genuine savings, and you've let all of these rebates and all of these discounts, and you've let the first home loan, first loan scheme, you've allowed that to do the heavy lifting here. So you actually got into your first property with just $10,000 savings, but after you've paid all your bills, you actually left with $20,000 of cash sitting in your bank account. Now, it could be more than that depending on your situation and depending on how these numbers change. Now, it's very, very similar for Victoria and for Queensland. I'm going to give you a quick brief overview of that, but this does apply also for Western Australia, for Adelaide. It applies all over the country, but I'm just giving you this here as an example. Okay, so now actually let's take a look at Victoria. Now in Victoria, the stamp duty concessions can be more. You can get up to 30,000, and you're also going to get the new build rebate or the grant. It's 10K for metro properties. If it's regional, it's more, but most people are going to be in the metro area. And then you're going to get the home build. That's 25,000. You're then going to get the 5% loan scheme. That could be another 15,000. And then you're going to get a rebate on your property, and it could be a lot more than that. In fact, I've done around 40 deals at the moment for people in Melbourne where their rebate is actually 15,000, and that's a very doable number. And in that case, you could be in the property and living in the property, and you're going to have about $30,000. After we've done all of this, you're going to have about $30,000 of cash sitting in your bank account once you're sitting in your brand new home. This is a game changer, guys. You've got to act. As I said, there's limited spots available for these different things, what the government's doing, and also these rebates. And these rebates will not go on, because as people start rushing into the market to build new property, builders and developers will simply scale back their rebates. So you want to move now. So let's take a look at Queensland. Queensland's actually a really good one. If you're in Queensland right now, you're positioned really, really well to move forward. Let me explain. The stamp duty is a lot lower in Queensland. They're the best, and Victoria, actually, you've got to pay the most stamp duty. So the stamp duty saving in Queensland is roughly going to be around about 16K as a maximum number. The new build grant that Queensland give is more than New South Wales and Victoria. It's actually 15K, so that's a nice bonus there. You're also going to get the home builder if you qualify, of course, and you're also going to get the 5% first home loan scheme from the government. You could save about 15K on the LMI, and the rebates, I'll put in here 10 grand, but we've done deals recently. We've done about 15 deals for a number of our members where the rebate actually was about $20,000. But just if we use 10K, if we've got 81K here, then you can get into your property, and once you're living in your brand new home that you're living in, you could have, say, around $40,000, but it could even be more than that. But you could have, say, $40,000 sitting in your bank account. And what are you going to do with that? You can use it to offset against your debt. You could start building up the deposit for the second property. So now you could have the home you live in, and then you can also have an investment property. And that could springboard the growth that we're predicting in the market in the next 3 to 5 years. That could springboard into 3, 4, 5, 6 properties. We don't know, but there's a great potential here for you to get on the ladder and then also start building up a portfolio of property. And so I'm very, very excited about this. Of course, this applies all over the country. I've just used these 3 states as examples, but in Western Australia, in Adelaide, you're also able to do this. In Hobart, you're able to do this. Northern Territory, you're able to do this as well. So if you're looking to become a first home buyer, you can get right now up to $90,000, maybe even more, of rebates, discounts, grants, state government grants, federal government grants. They're going to help you to do it. And you only need $10,000 of genuine savings, a solid employment background, a clean credit record, and as a single, earning about $80,000 or more, as a couple, about $120,000 or more, and not much debt. And if you're in that really good position, you need to act immediately right now, because a lot of these things, the government has caps on them. It's only a limited number, and the developers and the builders and the landowners will not be doing these rebates forever. In fact, they're starting to squeeze them down already. They heard this news and they know there's a lot of business, and the phones are starting to go crazy for them. And so, you want to be able to move really, really quick. Now, I want to explain to you some risks and pitfalls that you've got to look out for when you sort of look at doing this thing. So I'm going to go over just a couple of pitfalls. Now, pitfall number 1 is this. You may decide that you want to approach a builder or a developer direct. Now, if you're a first home buyer and you've got no experience with property, there are so many things here that you've got to be careful about. Now, there are some builders out there that are absolutely great. They've got great integrity and they've got the best brands, and they always look after their clients and their customers. But having said that, there are way more builders that will not do the right thing by you. In addition to that, some builders will just take on as much business as comes to them, even though they know that they can't fulfill on the volume or the quality. You then get stuck, and then you get penalized, and you're going to lose a lot of money, or you're going to sign a contract which is really bad. And in fact, if you sign the wrong contract and you get yourself in the wrong circumstances, all of those discounts and rebates and credits that I spoke about, they now become at risk. Let me just give you one example. So say, for example, if you go direct to a builder, number 1, if you've never seen a build contract, it's a very complicated thing. And if you're not experienced like myself, I've done over 600 build contracts. We've looked at them. I'm an expert in this, and I know the things that are in there, the traps and the pitfalls that are in there. We've got to eliminate them and clean them out. And one of the things that could be in there is they may actually take your deposit. They may actually say that we can get the build going, but the problem is that they may actually take longer than 3 months to begin your construction. Now, on the new home builder incentive, there are a lot of rules. In fact, everything I've spoken about here, there are a lot of rules. I could literally be here the whole weekend explaining all of the detail, but I'll give you just one of these traps. So one of the traps of the home builder is that you must sign your contract between now and Christmas of 2020. And after you sign your contract, the construction on your new home must start within 3 months of you signing. Now, if it doesn't start within 3 months, if it starts beyond 3 months, you now no longer qualify for the home builder grant. That's 25 grand that you will miss out on. Now, if your builder just gives you a verbal, yeah, we'll get started within 3 months, it's no problem. What if they don't? What if they don't have the right workforce? What if they don't have the right materials? What if they mess up the project management? So you've got to make sure you're covered in the contract. You've got to make sure you're dealing with someone reputable that knows what they're doing. Because when this construction boom starts, what's going to happen? The pool of skilled labor working for these builders is going to become under pressure. There will not be enough workers in this area to deliver on these projects. So you've got to be very, very careful, guys. This is just one trap of dozens and dozens of pitfalls and traps that you could fall into if you decide to go down this path and you're not working with an experienced professional or a community of people that have been down this path, that understand the rules and that are going to take care of you. So I know that you've got a lot of value out of this emergency briefing. I've made it very brief because there's so much detail here and you've got to move quick. Now, we don't normally do this, but what I'm going to do is offer you the chance to actually have a free discovery call right now and speak to one of our professionals. We want to help as many families and people to get into their first home as possible before a lot of those things start disappearing. You've got to move quick, and if you're in a position to move forward, you also don't want to hit a pitfall or a trap. You want to do this the right way, and there are people out there that will not look after you. So I'd love to give you the opportunity to do a free discovery call to find out if you qualify. Now, just remember, you've got to have at least $10,000 of genuine savings. As a single, you should earn more than $80,000, and as a couple, you should earn more than about $120,000, and you should have a clean credit record and stable employment. If you don't have these things, this is not for you. But if you have those things and you're a first home buyer, you've never bought a home before, you're not a part owner of a home before, which means you qualify for all of these first home owner grants. If you're in that position, then please come through and click the link. There'll be a link here somewhere. Click that link, fill in the details, and you'll be booked into a free discovery call with the team. And what we're going to do at that discovery call, we're going to figure out what position you're at, what you're eligible for, how you can move forward. We'll talk about how our membership works, and then we'll also talk about getting you started and actually getting you into a property where potentially you could have $20, $30, $40, $50,000 of cash sitting in your bank account while you're sitting in your brand new property. Guys, this is an amazing opportunity. I wish that I had had this opportunity when I did my first property, and so many families have been struggling to get into their first home, and now with just $10,000 cash and a clean record, stable employment, you've now got the opportunity to get into the market. And better than that, because of all of this stimulus and what's going on, we expect the market to actually grow. So you're potentially going to get some great market growth on your property as well. From myself, Scott Kuru, CEO and co-founder of Freedom Property, from all of my team, stay strong, stay blessed, come through and do your free discovery call, and let's take a look and get you moving right now. Thank you guys, appreciate your time.